Hi everybody, so we are having the special time today with Ilona, and I'm having the special dear friend of mine that we just met recently over the Facebook. And you know that our world is connecting every single one of us, and you never know what connection is going to bring you something special, some kind of spark, some kind of message in your life, and how it's going to grow from out there. So I have a privilege to have with me a very special person. Her name is Roseanne Cunningham. And she is she's a National Academy of the Sport of Medicine certified personal trainer, guys. So be careful out there. And she's also integrative nutrition coach. So we have that some in common. I think that's how I met with you, right? We were in the same school in the integrative nutrition coach. So, and also you have a wealth of knowledge, wealth of experience. And I want you guys to also know that in front of you is the author of the book that is Fuel Your Life, where she shares the secrets to living your healthiest life. We all need that. So this girl knows what it takes to live the healthiest life. So she's not just talking about something she's never done before. She lives through that. So Roseanne, please share more. I know you have so many things. Share more about yourself. Share about the story that impacted your life and why. Just share your wisdom with us. I'm so happy that you're part of this journey.
Right. Well, thank you for having me. And as you mentioned, my name is Roseanne Cunningham, and I am self-employed. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach, a certified personal trainer. I'm also the founder and host of the Better Body Challenge, which is a growing online nutrition and fitness coaching program that I started a couple of years ago. And so it's kind of become a passion of mine. It's geared more for weight loss. As you mentioned, I'm the author of Fuel Your Fire, Secrets to Living Your Healthiest Life.
It's must, guys. Read it.
Thank you. And I am a mom, a single mom to two daughters, Faith and Abigail. They are 15 and 11. And I also have a 2-year-old golden retriever, Kaya Bear, who I'll just leave it that she's a golden retriever puppy and she's full of energy.
Full of energy, yep.
Full of energy. So I'm also a girlfriend to who I refer to lovingly as my #man distraction. Which everybody has come to know, him as Man Distraction, but his name is Steve. He actually does have a name. His name is Steve.
Yes.
And he is wonderful. What else? I'm prior military. I have been trained in Krav Maga, which is an Israeli self-defense fighting style. And I have a huge passion for kickboxing, for guns and high heels. And I'm kind of like a wide...
I've seen you. I loved it. So you have the entire package, Roseanne, and that's why I want you to be in here, because you're such an inspiration to everybody out there, especially females. We don't have to read ourselves, and you are the perfect example for it. So what motivated you to pursue your dream? Just share the story. What is it? What's your secret? I want to know.
Okay. So for me, I think the big thing is, most of my life, I've always kind of had this go-getter attitude, but really getting into fitness and nutrition happened when I turned 40. I'm 47 right now, but it happened when I turned 40 because, a lot of times we go through life and we think when we're younger, in our 20s and our 30s, we think that we're invincible and put garbage into our body, and we live, a terrible lifestyle. We're up all hours of the night, sometimes abusing, drugs, alcohol, smoking, whatever. When you're younger, you just think, I can do all this stuff and I'm invincible because I'm in good health. Well, now, just let me put this out there, I never did any drugs. I did attempt to smoke once, and it's kind of a funny story. I couldn't inhale properly. And so my friends were like, how are you even alive? You can't inhale to smoke. And I was like, I guess it just means I'm not supposed to smoke. But anyway, so I've never smoked. In fact, kind of bouncing around here, but my mom smoked when I was little, and I remember sitting on her lap, and I hated the fact that the smoke would come into my face, and I would like move my face around all the time, and I would say, like, do this to swat the smoke away, and she would always say, you know, smoke follows beauty, and I would be like, what? Well, then one time when I was just a little bit older, I actually stole some of her cigarettes out of her purse and went out into a field with one of my friends. We probably were like 8 years old. Went out into a field with one of my friends after school. We didn't have a lighter, but we put them in our mouth and we were pretending to smoke. And then, you know, I put mine back in my pocket. My friend put hers back in her pocket, and we went our separate ways. Well, I got into big trouble because my friend's mom found her cigarette in her pocket, called my mom. And the good news that came out of that is my mom quit smoking cold turkey the next day. I got in a lot of trouble.
Yes, well, your trouble saved somebody's life and health.
Yes. So I guess you could say that's when it all really started for me, was when I was much younger, but I didn't realize it until now, just now as I'm telling that story. But anyway, so when I turned 40, after a lifetime practically of eating processed foods, not taking care of my health, thinking that I was invincible, I started not feeling well. And I was like, oh my goodness, something's off. I couldn't put my finger on what it was. And, you know, I didn't have any energy. My exercise recovery was terrible. My moods were horrible. Like, I was angry and irritable and quick to snap, and everybody was walking around on eggshells around me. And my weight I started gaining weight, and I exercised. So none of the stuff that was happening was making sense. I was having sudden like food intolerances and sensitivities and digestive issues, and I just felt like something was wrong. And there were times when I actually thought, oh my gosh, I'm sick, I'm dying. And it was scaring me. And so this all was like building up and building up and building up. And the next thing I know, I'm, you know, having somebody run me to the emergency room because I thought I was dying. My extremities, pins and needles. I couldn't feel my arms, my legs, everything was asleep. And so I went to the emergency room. They ran all these tests on me, and they basically said, you're having a panic attack. And I was like, okay. So lo and behold, and they had run a bunch of blood work on me too. And they said, you also have an electrolyte imbalance. So they gave me a potassium pill, which helped. And they sent me home, and they said, follow up with your doctor next week. So I did. So when I followed up with my doctor that next week, they were looking at the blood work that came back from the hospital, and they said, oh, your thyroid is out of balance. So you're not going crazy. This is why you're having all these symptoms. You're hypothyroid. And basically we think that means, you know, most people who are hypothyroid have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease. And they didn't run any other tests on me. They just prescribed medication, a high dose of medication, and said, this is the easiest, if you're going to have any disease, this is the easiest one to treat. And I was like, sweet, at least I have answers. Yes. So I went home, I started taking this medication, and I felt worse, horribly worse. My hair was falling out. It was awful. So 13 days later, I went off of this medication cold turkey. I got a second opinion from another doctor, and he said, you don't fit the mold for somebody who has hypothyroidism. You just don't fit the mold. He's like, I think we need to run blood work again. And he said, I think that if you want to manage this naturally, I will allow you to do that, and I'll monitor your blood work over time and we'll see what happens. And if you need to go on medication, I'll put you on medication. Because I was really like, I don't think I need medication. I think I just need to manage this on my own. Right. Yes. And you know, I'm a control freak by nature. So I was like, I need to be in control of my health, you know. I guess so. It was wonderful that I got the second opinion. And once he gave me the go ahead, I went to work researching everything. and I would try this and I would try that. And it was all nutrition, fitness, lifestyle. And as I would change things, I would start to feel better. But the biggest thing that it pointed to, the biggest transformation was nutrition and reducing stress in my life. Those two factors were the big key factors that helped me to heal from this. And it took me 2 years to get my health back on track, to get my blood work back to an optimal level, no medication. And once I was back to feeling normal and healthy again, I was determined at that point. I was like, nobody should have to go through what I just went through. There are millions of women that have thyroid diagnoses and they're struggling with it, and they don't know what to do, and they don't realize that nutrition plays such an important role in the health of your body. Yes. So I was determined at that point. I was like, I have to go to school. I need to get certification in this. I need to have some kind of credentials.
Correct. So people can hear you. Yes.
That authority, so to speak. Yeah. So that, I can help people.
Yes.
And so I went back to school to Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and then finished up my schooling, started my business, then went through a divorce. And as I was going through my divorce, I was like, okay, just in case the nutrition piece doesn't work out, I need a backup plan. And I love fitness, so I'm going to do the personal training piece. So I added that in, and the two have integrated really well. And I've just grown my business from there. And so that's kind of, hopefully not too long, but that's the short version of my story.
Yes, it's important to love your body and gain a self-esteem to love yourself and to treat yourself, because I'm going to quote that the Bible says that our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, but it also starts with the self-confidence and self-love. And people think that self-love is selfish. What would you say to them about that?
In no way is it selfish, actually. Quite the opposite. I have found that I am much better as a woman, as a mother, as a business owner, as a friend, as a daughter. In every role that I play, in every hat that I wear, I am so much better when I take the time to love myself first, to take care of myself first, to fill my cup up so that I can pour out to others.
Yes.
I'm so much better than when I'm running ragged all the time.
Yeah. So I know as a woman, we are kind of sometimes predestined to think this way. When you become a mother, it's all about them, it's all about family, about the children. But what society doesn't teach us is true self-care, self-love. And I know the nutrition and also the sport, right? The activities, go hand to hand. I also tell people that I would rather eat food as my medicine than eat medicine as my food later.
Yes.
So, and I love what you're doing, Roseanne, how you inspire others. And it takes one to know one, and you've lived through that. It's not that you've read about that and you just educate them about it. No, you went through that, and that's where the power is. So there's so many out there that are just teaching something different. There's so many books out there. I think there's more books about diet and fitness than anything else, any religious books out there that I have researched. So what advice would you give our listeners, our audience, about the whole nutritious theme, the topic? What do you want them to know about that, like a golden rule or golden tip? So what's the secret of it?
Okay, so the biggest secret is to approach nutrition from a whole body, whole mind, whole life point of view. It's not just the food that you put into your body that nourishes you. It's life nourishment too. So you have to have things in your life that are passions that you're pursuing, that give you meaning and purpose in life, that make you, that things that help you to create your legacy.
Yes.
And fulfill your life. But you also need to look at those hard places in life, like your relationships or your career, or, maybe it's your education or your social life, or certain areas where you feel unfulfilled areas that pull your confidence down, areas that bring stress into your life, those are effectively toxic to your health if you just continue to live that way without dealing with them.
Right.
And that was a big part actually of, not to get into my divorce, but I had been married for almost 19 years. And when I was ready to get divorced, a lot of people were shocked because they were like, we thought that you guys were this amazing couple. Well, you never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Yep. Right.
And, you have to listen to, deep down inside, you have to listen to your gut on things, and you have to know, like, if something's not working, if something is stressful, if something is causing you sadness or making you feel lonely, you need to do something about it. You have to address that problem because it's not healthy not to.
Correct. Yes.
And I'm not saying everybody should go get a divorce. I'm just saying you need to correct the problem, whatever that correction is. So
I tell it to everybody, if you're not happy in your life, or you get stressed from your job, you can eat so much kale in your life to get healthy. You will not be healthy because stress is the big factor and the influencer into our health. So there's so many people out there that, the actresses, the models who are trying to, they all go to these fancy cups of these, juicers, things. But what goes behind them, how unhappy they try to fix the symptom, but not the core of the problem. And that's why where the scam, comes into their life. You have to eat this to get better. No. You have to fix the problem in your life, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a relationship, or even at work when you go and your boss is yelling at you and you hate being at your job. And that's also part of your health. You're not happy. Right. So people doing the juicer, they're juicing so many things, doing the smoothie, they think that's the solution. It's not. So it's the happiness is a big factor of your health, of course. So Roseanne, tell me, who is the person in your life that influenced it?
Well, honestly, I've had quite a few people that I can say have been a big influence to me, but probably the two who have been the greatest influence to me are my parents.
Yes.
My mom and my dad. They, without even realizing it, they just watching them thrive in life, watching them overcome obstacles, watching them attack life with fire in their bellies. It just, I don't know. It's just been something that I've taken away, their work ethic. My mom was such a hard worker.
Wow.
She passed away last April, but such a hard worker and so loving and compassionate. And my dad is just a ball of fun and has just, every time when people are around him, they can't help but smile. And, he's got that classic, everybody likes my dad. It's just one of those
authentic energy.
Yes. And so I'm truly most inspired by them. And my dad has always lived a fairly healthy lifestyle. My mom, was planting gardens every year, every summer. And I used to follow her around in the garden and pick strawberries straight off the plant with dirt on them and everything and pop them in my mouth. I learned a lot of healthy eating habits just from watching her. And I picked up a lot of great, very grounding practices like gardening and reading and just different things from her that I would say my parents probably
so they laid the foundation for your life, for your thinking, for your behavior. So that's so good. It would be good that our kids one day will say the same thing about us when they are asked this question. Wouldn't it be nice? So I hope they will not say, "Oh, internet has influenced me, Google or YouTube."
Right.
That took so much time from us as a parents. So hopefully we will impart some wisdom onto them too, because they learn by seeing, not by talking. So I just hope that they will see that value that you bring to their lives too. So I know, Roseanne, our time is, running through. But it's not our last meeting with you. You're going to be coming back to help us more, to learn, to teach us more, and share your wisdom, your tips. But before we conclude today, what would you like to leave our audience with? What tips, what advice, what do you want to wish with?
So I do want to just share my favorite quote. Let me see it here. It is, and one day she discovered that she was fierce, strong, and full of fire, and that not even she could hold herself back because her passion burned brighter than her fears. That is a quote from Mark Anthony. And I love that quote because to me, that is so much of who I am as a person. And it is so much of who I try to inspire all of my clients to be. It's who I try to inspire my daughters to be in their every day, because it's just, there's nothing, that's part of why I wrote the book, Fuel Your Fire. I love that concept of having that fire for life and just feeling healthy and strong. And you have to start by making healthy choices with that. Yes. You have to start by putting good nutrition in. You have to start by eliminating the stress and moving your body. And so that would probably be the first thing I would say, or the last thing I would say, as far as inspiring people to be their best self, is to start.
So important. Yes. Thank you, Rosanne. That was wonderful. You know, your life is shining, and I also want to wish you to grow and glow in your business, so your efforts will be also not be wasted. So, and every time you're running out, or you feel like you're running out of the fuel or energy, I wish that God will remind you of this quote that you just read, and empower you and remind you how fierce you were made. So I know that you're special. You're God's masterpiece. So He loves you so much, and you got it, girl. I'm so excited for this element and for this time. So we want to say goodbye to you, and we're going to come back again. I'm going to let our audience know where to find you and connect with you. Okay?
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for having me.
God bless.